spread the holiday fear.
The remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night comes out this week, and it's definitely taking the franchise in a bold new direction, while still paying homage to that 1984 controversial original, drama. Let's talk about everything you need to know regarding the latest slasher remake. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. If you're excited for the new Silent Night, Deadly Night flick, just like me, then make sure to like this video and subscribe for more horror updates just like this one. Also, the best way to support the channel is by becoming a Patreon supporter or channel member, where you'll get access to exclusive review videos. Patreon supporters specifically get to see exclusive trailer reactions. Thank you all for your support. Now let's crack into this. Silent Night, Deadly Night 2025's plot description reads, after witnessing his parents' brutal murder on Christmas Eve, Billy, Rowan Campbell, transforms into a killer Santa, delivering a yearly spree of calculated, chilling violence. This year, his blood-soaked mission collides with love, as a young woman, Ruby Modine, challenges him to confront his darkness. Have you been naughty? Just to do a quick bit of history on this franchise, that 1984 flick was so controversial because it depicted Santa Claus killing people. He doesn't usually do that according to the lore. Usually he's just given presents to children, but religious groups weren't super happy about this flick, and it even got pulled from theaters after only a week. Even with that, however, it was still pretty profitable, pulling in $2.5 million against a $700,000+ budget. The original spawned an entire franchise, 4 sequels, one of which features this iconic moment.
Garbage Day! Huh? No!
And a 2012 remake from Stephen C. Miller. Although the Werewolves director discussed doing a sequel at the time, those plans fell through sadly. A few folks have tried to do more with the series over the years, like Joe Begos pitching a version of Silent Night, Deadly Night about a killer robot dressed as Santa Claus. That pitch was ultimately swatted for deviating way too far from the source material. Begos would still end up making this movie into his own thing, however, with Christmas Bloody Christmas on Shudder in 2022. It's a pretty solid slasher flick if you can look past the cringe dialogue and 1 million false resolutions. Oh my god. Harsh criticisms, I know, but I still recommend this one. I kinda just love every Joe Begos flick a little bit. He brings such an iconic style to all of his movies that I can really only describe as if Rob Zombie was so obsessed with neon lights. Jimmy and Stiggs from this year, however, may be his masterpiece. Also, the same studios behind the hit sequel, Jeepers Creepers Reborn, tried to tackle this upcoming entry, but thankfully those plans fell through. Now the new remake has put Mike P. Nelson at the helm, director of the criminally underrated Wrong Turn remake and the Angry Orchard commercial Sweet Revenge. That short only features Jason Voorhees and the same lake from his VHS 85 segment No Wake. That brings people back to life. To clarify, this is just Mike's take on Crystal Lake that seemingly brings back the dead. It's very similar, however, to his VHS segment, but I can't complain. Both of these things I think really rock, except every time I watch Sweet Revenge, I'm so parched for something, specifically apple cider. Mike is bringing that same sort of reimagining element to Silent Night, Deadly Night by reinventing the character of Billy Chapman entirely, who, let's be honest, deserved a facelift. The character now has an evil voice inside of his head telling him what to do. Check it out in this little clip here.
What is wrong with this town? Everyone is so nice.
It's refreshing.
Outside of the whole killer Santa thing, something that is a little more of a viable criticism towards the original Silent Night, Deadly Night is that you're showing this character who clearly has PTSD from something that happened when they were a child, and they're now using that trauma to kill people in the present. I think what's great about this version of Billy Chapman here is that he's not a mindless drone yelling punish at anyone that he sees doing something that he doesn't necessarily agree with. He's a calculated killer who can see people for what they are, possibly wrongdoers on the naughty list. That clip especially reminds me a lot of both Venom and more so even Frailty, which are two movies that this flick has already been compared to by early reviewers. By the way, if you're unfamiliar with the Bill Paxton flick there, give it a watch, and I do not want to spoil it here in today's video. A super underrated flick with an excellent twist ending. I have not seen the new Silent Night, Deadly Night yet, but I imagine those two flicks are going to be a perfect pairing. If you know, you know. And don't worry, slasher fans, this movie will be chock full of violence and blood. Terrifier 3 Story and VHS producer Brad Miska of Bloody Disgusting produces, and Cineverse will distribute this unrated flick. Cineverse is the same distributor behind Terrifier 3 from last year, and also Toxic Avenger from this year. Both unrated, both bloody as fucking hell. It's funny that they're marketing this movie as if you liked Terrifier 3, you're gonna love this one. And honestly, based on the events of both the new Toxic Avenger and Terrifier 3, Silent Night Deadly Night 2025 almost feels like a mixture of both of those movies combined. So seriously, if you liked Terrifier 3 and the new Toxic Avenger, you're definitely gonna like this. Rowan Campbell reprises his role as Corey Cunningham here. Rowan Campbell portrays this new take on Billy Chapman. Just like Corey, Billy has a darkness inside of him, but is super easy on the eyes. Pam Vero, played by Ruby Modine, seems to be his love interest of sorts, who kinda digs the whole killer Santa thing. He says he's spreading Christmas fear by taking out everyone on the naughty list. Like we were saying earlier, his spidey senses tell him when someone is good or bad. I wonder if Pam here will be his Allison or Mrs. Claus. Ruby Modine is probably best known as Laurie in the Happy Death Day flicks, but she also played Serena in Fear from 2023. I think Rowan is totally getting some redemption in this role after playing something very similar to this in Halloween Ends. The problem that most folks had with that film, however, is that you just don't try to show up Michael Myers in his own franchise. Here, this feels like a better version of a similar concept, where Rowan is actually playing a new version of the same killer, rather than Michael Jr. I may have wanted to kick this kid in the teeth after seeing him rip Michael's mask off in the sewers and push him down like a little punk, but I think after this flick, Rowan is going to totally redeem himself. I can't wait to put Halloween Ends if it didn't suck on the thumbnail of this video. Oh, the comments are gonna be just lovely. I can't wait. This flick somehow gets even better, as in another clip recently released, we see Billy gearing up with his axe to kill a bunch of fucking... Oh man, I have the worst feeling that people are going to call this movie woke for doing this. From what we've heard of these characters in this movie already, sounds like things that line up with beliefs.
This is the third annual I'm Dreaming of a White Power Christmas Party.
Sadly, I think there's gonna be people who are going to try to defend their own beliefs because they're comparable to some of the things being said by literal in this movie.
We shouldn't have to feel shame for what we believe, for wanting a better America for our children.
Not to get up on my soapbox here, but I think if you have to defend your own beliefs because they're comparable to literal fucking, maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're the villain. Crazy thought, I know. Anyways, this is going to be a ton of fun and super satisfying to see these jerks get what they deserve. Personally, this sounds like the kind of remake that is right up my alley. I just don't think there's any value in making a movie the same way twice. I'd rather just watch the original again. This is a fresh take on the same kind of material. Slashers are also such an overdone subgenre. Everything, and I mean everything, has already been done there. So if you're going to make a new slasher flick, you have to swing for the fences to avoid repetition. Sure, this movie is clearly taking inspiration from some other flicks that it is obviously already being compared to, but it seems like they're going to stick the landing with a very fresh reinvention. This seems to be the facelift that original 1984 flick has needed for some time now. I am so hyped for this movie that is coming out later this week. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.